Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Pitstop, the show that refuels your entrepreneurial drive.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Pitstop, the show that helps refuel your entrepreneurial engine. In today's show, we have key conversations that help grow your business and steer you in the right direction. I'd like to welcome all our listeners to check out our channel on SoundCloud, on Brand Live, and follow me on Twitter at Bernadette Boule. Today, I speak to the founder of Netflorist, Ryan Bacher, who founded Netflorist in preparation for Valentine's Day. Now, Netflorist continues to flourish as Cupid's sidekick in bringing smiles, mending broken hearts, and rescuing forgetful lovers on those special dates they tend to forget. Also on my show is Junior Achievement South Africa. It has often been said that entrepreneurship should be taught in school, and I've often believed that subjects like accounting, economics, and business economics should be accompanied by practical examples. That's where Junior Achievement South Africa comes in. I speak to the managing director, Nelly Mafokeng, to gain an understanding of how our little trooper can be part of this great initiative. Don't go away, I'll be right back.
I'm about to start something. I'm about to stand toe-to-toe with impossible and go hard on nothing. No, you don't know me right now, but damn it, you're gonna love me for my ambition. See, I'm starting something they keep telling me is impossible, but it's a dream that I have, a life that I want, a thing that I do. I've got naysayers standing in line and tell me I'm a fail. I say, I dare you to watch me fail 49 times and see what happens on try number 50. Ooh, I'm about to start something. Said I'm about to stand toe-to-toe with impossible and go hard on nothing. What is this I impossible anyway? Oh, I'm sorry, impossible. The voice of one of my heroes screams constantly in my ear. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential, impossible is temporary, impossible ain't shit. That's my newfound confidence to say I got this. Listen, I do this because I want this because I need this because I breathe this because I understand that in order for me to live the life that I want to live, then I must do what I have to do or I'm about to start something. Said I'm about to stand toe-to-toe with impossible and go hard on nothing. See, I'm that new guy. I might not get it at the first time I try, but I'm that new inspiration. All my heroes are dead, it's on me now, cause I'm about to, no. I just started something. See, I'm standing toe-to-toe with impossible, I'm going hard, it's nothing. You see, I grew up to be told that your dream is too big, son. What you're doing has been done, nobody gonna like you. The game is gonna chew you up and spit you out. I say I'm ready. Step up, impossible.
You're tuned into the Entrepreneur's Pitstop, brought to you by Bernadette Boule.
Ryan, thank you so much for making the time to speak to me. Netflorist has been a trendsetter in the e-commerce space. As an experiment, take me through what you quickly had to learn in those first few months after you launched, inverted commas.
Right. So thanks for having me. It's nice to be on your show and your podcast. So we actually had to learn everything because we ventured into a space that didn't exist. In 1999, there was really no e-commerce in South Africa. So we had to learn everything from the technology to delivery to how to transact a customer online, how to send a confirmation email. All these things actually really didn't exist. So we had to learn it all from scratch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and so that was the learnings that you've had to go through. Yeah, and I know email was quite a big thing back then. So
yeah, I mean, email was also in its infancy. So I mean, just to tell you how early it was, Amazon started getting going properly in about 1996, 97. So this was only 2 years after that. So this is really, e-commerce didn't exist really and everything was at infancy. Email only started in 1995, I think. So these were the early days of the internet, email, e-commerce. So everything we did, it was very hard to look at anybody to say, oh, that's how they do it, so that's how we should do it. There weren't many people to look at.
Look, what I find fascinating about your story is that it was an accidental and entrepreneurial journey. How soon after your experiment did you decide to go into full-time business?
So in 1999 we kind of fell into it by mistake, and it was only around about the end of 2000, so about a year and a half that we started dedicating proper resources to this business and to realizing that actually there's a business opportunity here. So for about a year and a bit, we kind of ran it as a side hustle, that kind of thing, right? But then we pivoted.
That's great. Yeah. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who've also, like you, stumbled into a business?
So, I think what I would say if you get into something by mistake is to not worry as much about how things start. So I've often heard people say, we were doing this and then this opportunity came about and we didn't think it would come about, and so we're not taking it that seriously because that was never part of the original strategy. So, and I think whether you have a business opportunity because you studied it, researched the market, that's what you went into, or if something kind of fell into your lap or by mistake, I don't really think it matters how the thing came about. Yeah. I think it's more to be able to see the opportunity and then go with that. How it started, I don't think really matters.
I quite like that, because you're basically saying at the end of the day, run with it, take it to the next level and take it seriously.
Yeah, I think so. As I say, there's some businesses that start, the strategy is down, they do a lot of research and they begin, and other businesses start by mistake, and other businesses start in one direction and completely go in the other. Yeah. And I don't think one's better than the other. So don't worry about how it starts.
Okay. I think there are benefits in actually starting out the way you did start, actually, because there wasn't this focused research, market research. I think the pressure wasn't also there, and like a side hustler, you actually have time to digest the market, to digest the research, and actually be able to plan financially correctly. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, pressure is important. Yeah. We didn't have much to lose. We didn't have an ego because we didn't think, well, we put so much energy and time into this idea, now it has to work. None of that. And probably because of that, we were able to take a few more risks because we didn't have as much to lose. Sure. And so maybe that all helped us along the journey. Okay.
One of the things I call your industry is the love industry.
Right.
How big is it in South Africa? I mean, when I think of Netflorist, I also think of Cupids.
Right.
And I think those are the only two players I think of.
Right.
How big is it?
So, the floral industry in South Africa is, we think, somewhere around half a billion rand. Somewhere around there in terms of people buying flowers to gift to others. Some kind of show they care kind of way. So that's probably about half a billion rand. But then the love industry in terms of gifting is billions. So, if you walk around Sandton City, most shops will sell things that you could gift to a loved one. So the love gifting industry is in the billions. We don't know how much, but almost everything can be a gift.
Yeah, sure. And talking about that, Netflorist has diversified from simply being a florist to also getting personalized gifts, bakery, nuts, homeware gifts, food and drink. How do you choose the direction your business is going to grow?
Right. So we see ourselves as primarily a gifting business, but that extends sometimes into gifting yourself. So whatever we put on the site, whatever we offer, is something that you can gift somebody else or as a gift for yourself. So our homeware category at the moment, we sell personalized scatter cushions. For example, you can put a picture of your family or your kid and make a cushion. And those are quite personal items. People aren't going to gift those to third parties. You're going to buy for yourself. So we've got a whole pet range. You're not going to give your friend a pet gift. You're going to buy it for your own dog. So we've got a whole range. And firstly, it's gifting, whether it's a third party or yourself, and secondly, it's something that you want to add value to. So we don't want to just resell something. That's not our business. We want to add value by making it up, by personalizing it in some way that differentiates from anybody else that does it.
So the direction that you've taken the last few years of doing the different types of gifting, bakery, personalized gifts, is simply because it adds value.
It adds value. Yeah, we don't want to sell a commodity. We don't want to sell something that everybody else sells, and we don't sell it. So pretty much everything on our site, we've curated, we put together, we personalize, we customize, and you can't get anywhere else. And we hope that that adds value to our customers' lives instead of selling kind of a box of cereal where you can buy anywhere else. That's really not what we are trying to do.
And just on a personal note, what do you do on special occasions like Valentine's Day?
So yeah, the answer is I get very little sleep and I'm at work. So my wife knew when she married me, because I already started Netflorist, because Valentine's Day was not going to be an event that we were going to ever.
You got away with it.
Yeah, we were ever going to celebrate. So the truth is, I'm here. All of our staff are. None of us really go home, and yeah, it's an event that we focus on our customers. Our personal lives are secondary at that time.
Sure. Before the show, we actually spoke about a business called Rotten Roses, a US-based company specializing in the business of broken hearts. Would you ever consider this business into your model?
So I had a look at it. Yeah, it's interesting. No, it wouldn't be a fit for us. Firstly, it would tarnish our brand. So the idea is that you allow people to buy stuff that is really horrible, and you say to people that you hate. So the first thing that comes to mind is that if our brand is on a product that's horrible, that doesn't work really with our brand. And secondly, the market would be so small. It would be a fun PR stunt, but I don't think there's really a market for that. But in America, who knows? They've got so many consumers, there's a market for everything.
Now, Netflorist was launched on the eve of Valentine's Day, and thanks to your quirky ad with Harold's Hotline, it has been successful in leveraging off other special days like Mother's Day and birthdays. 2018 though was quite a difficult year economically for a lot of South Africans, not just South Africans but globally. Has this impacted on your business in terms of spenders focusing their budget on necessity goods, or has it not really had a huge impact?
So yeah, there's no question that the economy is struggling and has. I mean, a friend of mine said to me the other day, it's been struggling for 10 years, and everybody said, no, next year it's going to recover, and it hasn't really. Since 2008 and 9, our economy has struggled. So we've been very fortunate that we've grown every year throughout, since that crash in 2008, and we continue to grow in 2018, and we're growing in 2019. So we feel very, very lucky that we're doing that. I do think that if the economy was stronger, then our rate of growth would be higher. So I do think it impacts us because we sell a want, not a need, as you said, for necessity. So I'm sure if the economy was stronger, we would be growing at a faster rate. So the short answer is, I think it is affecting us.
Sure. One of the questions I also thought about was that we always look at online purchasing with skepticism. I mean, myself, it took me a while to get onto that bandwagon. It took me a while to get onto that bandwagon. But one never thinks of the risks on your end as a supplier. Are there any risks, if any, and how do you mitigate them?
So we've got normal business risks. It would be like any business, but I guess some of the unique risks online is there's a fraud risk. So we have it very seldom, fortunately, but it is something that happens reasonably often to other suppliers online, is that people buy stuff with a stolen credit card, as an example, then you go and deliver, and a week later those funds get taken out of your account and put back in the person whose funds they were stolen from. In the industry, that's called a chargeback. So that certainly is a risk, that when you go and deliver and you think you got paid for it, but it was stolen money. So there is that in South Africa. That risk certainly exists. And then there are just other risks that are associated to having a business that isn't a physical business. So for example, if you've got a shop in a shopping center, you go to work in the morning, your shop is always there. But if you've got an internet site and you wake up in the morning and your website hosting supplier is down, your shop's not there.
hear you.
So in the physical world, they're just things that are tangible that always kind of exist. But in the online world, you can wake up in the morning, your website's down, and your shop doesn't exist.
Sure.
And obviously there are ways to mitigate against that, but there are risks with selling in a virtual space that don't come in the physical space.
Okay, I hear you. And one of my questions would be that retail has moved away from in-person to, your Spree, Takealot.com and Netflorist being the great example.
Yes.
Do you think there's still space for in retail purchasing, or do you think it's really a dying industry?
So I definitely don't think it's a dying industry. What's happening in America and Europe is that physical retail isn't dying, but it's changing.
Okay.
So what customers want from a physical retail store seem to gradually be changing from walking in and kind of grabbing something and going out to having some kind of experience. And I think the people who set that tone were Apple. So Apple understood that people wanted a retail experience, not just to go in and buy a phone. So the ice stores all around the world are iconic, and people queue up to go into them, and even if you don't buy something, you love to be in that ice store. So I think an ice store is a view of what retail is going to look like in the future, and we're all physical retailers going to have to move into that direction. If they don't, I think their time could be limited. But physical retail isn't going anywhere. People like to shop. They like to go out and shop.
And they like that personal engagement.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think physical retail, the experience is going to have to change, and physical retailers are going to have to move in that direction. Or they risk, I think, a struggling future.
Okay. Any parting words for entrepreneurs out there, side hustlers, from your part, Ryan?
So there are no words of wisdom, just a lot of empathy. It's hard to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's often quite a lonely job. I know that employees kind of they come to work, they do what they need to do, and they leave. And entrepreneurs worry about paying salaries at the end of the month, and that worry is real, and it's there. And my empathy is with all entrepreneurs. We have it here. It's no different. It's a pressurizing, lonely, but wonderful world.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, actually, and for making the time.
Sure.
Thank you.
There's a popular quote going around at the moment. The person you will be in 5 years is based on the books you read and the people you hang around with today. This is quite true, but it applies to everything else as well. The person you will be in the future is based on everything you do today, the people you hang around with, but more so the people you listen to, the opinions you believe, the books you read, or the videos you watch. All the information you take in, positive or negative, will affect your future. The workouts you do or don't do, that will show up in the future. The foods you eat today will affect your future on a visual and energy level. The same is true with your thoughts and information. What you feed your mind will shape your future. If all you do is take in garbage, guess what your future is going to be made up of? Commit to feed your mind with successful thoughts and surround yourself with those who have the same ambition. It doesn't matter where you get your information from. You may read, you may get it from podcasts or videos. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you keep feeding your mind every day. Your future self is begging you to show some discipline. Your future self is begging you not to be like the rest, to learn more than the rest, to work harder and smarter than the rest. Your future self is begging you to do the work now so you can enjoy later. If you don't feed your mind with success, it will rot with mediocrity. What you do every day will dictate your future. What you want out of life, you must put it in. If you want success, put it in there. If you want health and fitness, put it in. If you want peace and happiness, put it in. Your actions will equal your results.
You're tuned into the Entrepreneur's Pitstop, brought to you by Bernadette Boule.
You're listening to a brandlive.co.za podcast.
Welcome back. Now, in today's segment of Nuts and Bolts, we put a spotlight on Junior Achievement South Africa, an institution aimed at nurturing young people in the entrepreneurial development, with interventions like workshop of a few hours up to in-depth training of up to 8 months, designed to deliver measurable results. Learners actually engage in real business and financial activities that encourage teamwork and leadership, with the flagship program on enterprise. With the flagship program called Enterprise Program, requiring learners to start up and run a real business. I speak to Nelly. Nelly, welcome to the show. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome stuff. Take me through how you make this happen. What is JASA and what is JASA basically?
So Junior Achievement South Africa is a non-profit organization. We are affiliated to Junior Achievement Worldwide, with a presence in more than 100 countries at the moment.
Oh, wow.
The organization was started in the US in 1919. So worldwide, we're turning 100 years this year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so the program was introduced to South Africa in 1979 as part of the Wits Business School. And then it grew over the years and was registered as a nonprofit. And so we focus on providing financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and work readiness skills to young people from as early as 9 years of age through to 35. The programs are experiential in nature. So the young people learn by doing, whether it's using board games or actually setting up and running a business as part of their training. We work with 10 full-time staff members. We also employ part-time volunteers and facilitators whom we engage as and when activities permit.
Sure.
The programs are fully sponsored, so participants do not have to pay to be on the program.
Oh, that's fantastic. I quite liked, we had a discussion prior to the interview. I struggled in certain subjects because I wanted to be practical. Now that I run my own business, it makes a lot more sense. So I really appreciate that about Junior Achievers. Do you find that kids who do it practically find it more easier when going back to class?
Absolutely. So the program is extracurricular, and we work within the school environment, and we engage educators as well. So we find that when we do the recruitment at times, the educators would send those students that are actually struggling and they don't know how to work with them. And these are some of the students that really excel on the program. We've got students who came from that background who are now serial entrepreneurs.
Are you serious?
And and I mean, once they find their place in the program, because everyone has got to be given a task and they have a role to play. So once they find that recognition, their best suddenly starts coming out. And this has an impact on their studies as well. And the feedback we get from the educators is that their attitude towards their overall schoolwork changes.
I can believe that.
They develop that sense of responsibility. And part of the most outstanding things about the program is that it teaches you those soft skills that you won't find in a textbook. Like through running an enterprise, they learn about teamwork, collaboration, problem solving, goal setting. So, as they progress in their school life, these are the skills that they continue to apply throughout.
Now, I can imagine. I think I find myself in that. And you come and find that a lot of them are really serial entrepreneurs because they disrupt, they go out there, they do it their way. And the fact that they've got the teaching that, it enhances your skills. You can go out there and do it yourself. That's quite impressive.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the programs that you run.
Okay, we've got programs at primary school level which focus on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. Students use board games to learn the different activities on financial literacy about earning, saving and spending money. Sure. They also do a business plan which they present. We usually engage corporate volunteers with this program, so they would come in for a day like on your Global Money Week or Mandela Day. They spend the entire day at school with the learners going through the activities. We also have the environmental entrepreneurs program at primary school. We work with grades 4 to 7. Sure. And it's basically teaching young people about the impact of global warming and also encouraging them to consider setting up enterprises using recycled materials. Wow. So they actually do products. We've also now introduced a STEM concept. So we're encouraging young people from as early as primary school level to start considering STEM careers when they get to high school. So we would do the introduction and explain the various STEM careers, and then we choose one stream, for example, technology. We've got a program that's coming up in April where we engage in grades 7 on an innovation camp. They'll be coming up to Saibono, and they will do coding and robotics as part of the training, but focusing more on how they could create jobs around that as well.
So you're actually considering the fourth industrial revolution in your program?
Absolutely. I mean, when we're working with young people, preparing them for the world of work or to be self-employed, we have to consider the environment that they are growing into.
One of the interesting discussions around educating entrepreneurs or preparing them, or even educating the future generation, is that people have to be versed in different skills. Whereas in the last, or about 10 or 20 years ago, you do your high school, you go doing a career, and you do it for the rest of your life. I understand that now that's changing in light of the Industrial Revolution. Would you say that?
Yes, by all means. And the sad thing is that our education system is not changing as quickly as what's happening out there. So it's programs like these that really are there to support and give hope to young people to say, okay, there is the light out there. I mean, if you follow this stream at this young age, certainly there is something out there for you, because there are a lot of misconceptions around, what the fourth industrial revolution is bringing up.
What it's about.
What it's about.
Take me back to the STEM careers. Break that down to our listeners, because I might know it, but can you break it down?
So we started a pilot program last year where we're working with a single cohort of students from grade 7. We're going to be working with the same group until grade 12, where we in the first year, we're introducing a program called Opportunities Out There, which discusses the various careers that young people can go into, but also encouraging them to consider entrepreneurship as a career option. Sure. So in the first year, they do basic coding, and because we've chosen the technical stream, the technology stream, so once we've gone through the various STEM opportunities and careers. And then over a period of 6 years, they will be engaging in various aspects of technology, from coding to robotics to programming. And so, the whole idea is to actually encourage them that when they get to grade 12 and go on to tertiary, they follow that same stream. Because, if you talk about the fourth industrial revolution and the careers of the future, technology is right there. Yes. It remains constant with the other soft skills that are necessary for young people entering the workforce.
Okay, fantastic. You talked about kids coming from primary school up to the age of 35. What different age groups do you guys target?
So at high school, we work with learners from grade 8 to grade 11. We usually don't work with matrics, but we've got programs on our personal positioning strategies, success. We call it success skills. So it prepares them for the world of work, putting together a CV, how to engage in an interview, how to work in a team. And then we've got the flagship program as well for the grades 9, 10, and 11, which is the enterprise program where they get to set up and run a business as part of the training. Now, through this program, young people would do research or look at what the challenges in their communities are and come up with a few products that they will brainstorm and go out and research if the customers really would be interested in those programs. They set up a real company. They they select their management team. Sure. They sell shares to raise capital for this business. Yes. And then they manufacture the product. They get monitored and supported by facilitators. We bring in corporate volunteers as well to support their initiative. And then at the end of the program, they either liquidate the program and share the profits, or they continue as a school enterprise club. So they would hand over to the next cohort of students that are coming in the following year. Okay. And then we've got a program for the out-of-school unemployed youth as well, which is accredited by the services CETA at NQF level 4. Okay. With this program, we recruit young people who are either self-employed or not in employment, education, and training. And they have to at least have grade 10. The program is presented in English. The programs are run in the communities, so we make it easy for them to access the program. And where possible, we recruit local facilitators whom we then train and support to implement the JA program. So it runs over 20 classroom sessions.
Sure.
Upon which they also get to set up an enterprise as part of the training. So what we do right at the beginning, because these are young people who have been either been retrenched or have been trying to find a job. Usually they don't have enough skills, and the last thing on their mind is entrepreneurship. Starting a business is hard, but I mean, and we do say it's not for everyone, but what we would try and do with this program is plant that seed and instill that can-do attitude. So we give them an exercise right at the beginning. Usually the popular one is a ginger beer exercise, where we give them ingredients for ginger beer, and we set them up in teams of 4 or 5, and then we give them the recipe, and then we challenge them to manufacture the ginger beer, package it, and sell it. So they would work then they learn the marketing strategies already, and they would sell the ginger beer. And then they save whatever money they've made out of that. They would use a startup capital later on when they start the business. We encourage them to start small, test, and then transition. And so already what tends to happen is that once they realize they can do this, they suddenly think of other skills that they have, and they say, oh, okay, but I can do this. I mean, I can make scatter questions, or I can actually make this ginger beer. We've got young women who've registered businesses selling ginger beer and adding other products to their range already. So as they continue with the program, they're already starting their initiatives on the side, and they are then incubated for a period of 10 weeks. Upon the completion, I mean, part of that training includes them visiting real businesses and getting to understand the processes and challenges that small businesses face, and sort of getting advice from the entrepreneurs themselves. And so upon completion of the 20-week classroom sessions, they go into a mentorship phase. So once they've completed this phase, we do a focus group to assess if any of them are still looking for a job or wanting to study further, because now they've got an NQF level 4 qualification. They are motivated to actually continue with their studies, or I mean, they've been through running a business process. They have some work experience through that process. And so they can actually try out employment as well. We work with other institutions that do entry-level placements for young people as well. And then, but what we're finding is that more than 60% of the participants that complete the program actually opt for entrepreneurship. So they want to start their own businesses. And these are the young people we spend most of our time with now. Over the 6-month period, we focus on where the needs are. I mean, we do a more focused bookkeeping sessions. We do digital marketing. The idea is that by the time they complete the mentorship phase, they would have set up their business email, they would have set up their social media profiles, and they would have registered their businesses and having a bankable business plan.
Okay. You spoke about two different age groups. You spoke about the grade 8 to grade 11, and you spoke about out of school. Tell me about the primary schools.
So the primary school, this is where we do the financial literacy program for the grades 4 to 7.
Okay.
And then there is an environmental entrepreneurs program as well for this age group. Usually it's run during school hours for an hour once a week. And then we engage educators whom we train to support the program. If possible, we encourage them to also facilitate the program. The good thing about running this and engaging educators is that it ties in very well with the grade 7 curriculum on the economic and management sciences curriculum, where they do financial literacy in the second half of the year and they do entrepreneurship in the third half. So this program combines those two, what do you call them?
Two
terms.
different
Those 2 terms. So
those terms. So the quarter, the second quarter, and the third quarter. So by the time between 1 and 4,
absolutely.
it's got 2 quarters dedicated to that.
And so they also do their entrepreneurship day on the 3rd term. So this is like a nice summary of what they've learned and putting it then into practice.
Yeah.
And so during the program, the educators are all, if they are involved in the program, they are able to take the learnings back and apply them to the curriculum itself.
What happens to kids or children who are in primary school but are not, the school is not doing this program with JASA? If I want to take my kid, for instance, to be part of this, how do I do that?
We've started working with aftercare centers as well on the program.
Oh, wow.
And we are able to reach quite a number of students through that. But what we normally do with aftercare centers is we do a 1-day intervention where we do, it's a 5-hour program. But if we do it within the school curriculum, within the school time, they are able to give us maybe 45 minutes in a week to tie it in with the EMS subjects. But then if we do it with aftercare, we schedule a day. And we bring in volunteers and we bring in, we can then attend to a large group of students like that. The programs are sponsored, so sometimes that limits the number of people that we can engage. And usually we try and go to communities where there is a greater need, where those students are not likely to get these opportunities. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I quite like it. I mean, I'm quite interested in getting my kids or my nephew and nieces involved, and that's why the interest. Does that mean that it restricts kids who are not in a disadvantaged community or not?
I think every child deserves to go through a program like this.
I think so too.
we really try and open it up to everyone who is able to engage.
Sure.
We are working on a program with private schools where we're encouraging parents to contribute to at least the running cost of the program, and getting educators involved in facilitating the program, because then that brings the cost down.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate that you guys have also thought about that outside of your normal scope. Tell us how JASA has managed to influence future leaders. I mean, alumni, the number of people, of students that went through the program, and how has that had a direct impact on the status quo of the communities, and also in bringing the unemployment rate down? I mean, you an alumni of the program. Talk to me about that.
So over the past 40 years, we have reached more than 500,000 young people across the country. We work in both rural and urban environments.
Sure.
Our activities were previously mostly in schools, and today I can tell you that we've got young people that are serving as executives in companies.
Wow.
We've got the chairman of Investec as our alumni. We've got young people who went on to study tertiary and completed, but went into entrepreneurship afterwards.
Wow.
I mean, we've got the CEO and founder of Livestock Wealth. I don't know if you know.
Yes.
Okay, and he is a J alumni.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, he still references his J experience to date. We've got young women who are running successful companies. Hest Consulting is one of them. She's a motivational speaker. She's a strategist, and her first international trip was through a J program.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, we've got young women who are coming up now on our out of school program who are running. When we start engaging them, they'll probably be running survivalist business, and now they're able to pitch their businesses at international platforms. I mean, we had 8 of our young women pitching at the We Connect SA conference about 3 weeks ago, and 2 of them made it to second and third prize. So I mean, this is very exciting stuff for us, because we see the transition.
Sure.
You know, I mean, we've got a J alumni who serves on our board at the moment. He's a chartered accountant.
Wow.
I mean, we were just looking at the statistics previously, and if you look at young people who actually start school, only 75% actually make it to grade 9, not even matric. So and only below 45% make it to matric, complete matric. And of that, only
disturbing.
6% complete their tertiary studies.
Yeah.
And so we did a survey of students that have been through our programs between 2014 and 2017. And 50% of those young people, okay, most of them are still studying further, but 50% of them are studying at tertiary now.
Okay.
And we've got about 6% that are improving their metric subjects. And we've got young people who've started businesses. It's 2%, but it's something. And then we've got 19% who are unemployed. That's the reality. I mean, if you look at the youth unemployment
that have gone
rate,
through your program.
yes.
Okay, that's quite.
If you look at the youth unemployment rate, it's over 50% at the moment.
Over 50. We actually had a discussion just last week about how the unemployment rate has gone over 54%.
It's scary, and to think that about almost 35% of that, it's young people who are not in employment, education, or training. So they are out there, looking for these kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. How do parents get involved? You spoke about the aftercare. You spoke about how they come to schools. How do parents who are keen on this get involved?
So parents can come in as volunteers. We've got a volunteer engagement program. If you wish to sign in, you can log on our website and complete a volunteer form. They could either volunteer to facilitate a session. There's always a JA staff member to support. So it's co-facilitation at the beginning until a person is comfortable to do that. With the primary school students, we also give them worksheets which they take home to complete. And we find that it's a way of engaging parents because they get to know what the students are doing extracurricular. And as a result of that, in previous years, because it's a financial literacy program at primary school, we've had parents requesting a workshop on financial literacy for themselves because we do know that financial literacy, skills are essential especially for people who are working. I mean, we have got people who cannot do a budget and they wonder where their money goes to at the end of the month. It is a problem that cuts across. So we do run those special workshops on request. But parents can get involved by volunteering their time or, as mentors and facilitators on the program.
On a different note, and it's policy related, have you had government come to you and say, we see the work that you're doing, we'd like to include it as part of a curriculum? Because as a parent, I would want to go on this thing and also get my kid involved. Have you had requests from government to get more involved or get your input in the current school curriculum? So
we've had absolute amazing support from the Department of Education, especially in Gauteng, because most of our high school programs are run in school, although they run after school hours. But, they have been willing to engage and allow us time and give us facility to implement the programs. But also, the Department of Basic Education has now signed off a bill to incorporate entrepreneurship into the school curriculum. And so we have been invited to present on how we can engage going forward. And this is really exciting for us because, imagine if every young person in South Africa has the opportunity to go through this process. We wouldn't be sitting with such high unemployment rates at the end. So there is progress in that front, and we're really excited that the government is engaging current providers in the process.
That's impressive because I would shout your credentials on the rooftop. It's really impressive and well done to you. Any upcoming events that we could look forward to? Anyone who's listening and saying, listen, I want to come to an event. Tell me about any upcoming events you have.
So our programs for the first half of the year are already in full motion. So we've done the recruitment already. Okay, sure. We've got a coding and robotics camp that is coming up in April. Okay. But the students have already been selected. We are looking for volunteers for the day. So if any young professional is out there, well, let me not say young, anyone who's got the time, the experience is out there and willing to share, it will be held at Saibono Discovery Center on the 12th of April. It's a full-day program where we're encouraging young people in grade 7 to consider careers in technology.
Okay. So for the next year, how do people get a hold of you saying, look, we want to get involved for 2020?
So we will have activities for the second half of the year. If people can follow us on social media and maybe visit our website, because we do update on upcoming events as well, then they can see what's coming in the next second half of the year. Our social media handles for Facebook, we are at Junior Achievement SA, and on Twitter we are at JASA. And our website address is www.jasa.org.za, or they can send us an email on info@jasa.co.za.
Nelly, thank you so much for making the time. You've spoken to a topic that's on my heart, which is entrepreneurship and children. So well done to you, and thank you again.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure being here.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.